Hello, my dear student. In the class today, we are going to start with the first chapter, that is vector. Children, vector is a very important tool. It is not just a chapter, it is part and parcel of every chapter of physics. In every chapter of physics, you will come across vectors, and if you have thorough command over vectors, you won't have any problem. So let's get on with the business and know what are vectors. All physical quantities, all measurable quantities can be divided into two different categories, and this time this categorization is on the basis of an additional property associated with the physical quantities, and that is direction. So every physical quantity has its value, its magnitude, but every quantity does not possess direction. So all those quantities which have both magnitude as well as direction, they are called vectors, and all others which have only magnitude, they are called scalar quantities. Well, you have already studied number of vectors like displacement vector, velocity, acceleration, force, momentum, and so on. There are a number of vector quantities you have studied, and today we are going to deliberate on some very important aspects of all these vectors. Well, force is a vector quantity, you know. Displacement is always in a particular direction. Velocity is also in a particular direction. Of course, it has value, but it has a particular direction also. Acceleration is always in a particular direction, like acceleration due to gravity. It is always in vertically downward direction. Force is push or pull. So push is force away from you, and pull is a force always towards yourself. So all these quantities, they not only have their magnitude, but they do have their directions also. So they are called as vector quantities. All vectors are represented both graphically as well as mathematically. There are two ways we represent a vector: through graph or by mathematical notations. When we represent a vector graphically, we make an arrow for it. Arrow. You know, every arrow has what? Two extremes. One is called tail, other is called head. We represent a vector by an arrow where length of the arrow is magnitude of vector, and direction of arrowhead is the direction of the vector. Like this is vector. Well, the length from here to here is the magnitude of this vector, and the arrowhead in this direction is the direction of the vector. Let us understand it further with the help of an example. Suppose we have a force of 100 Newton due east. And we want to represent it graphically. So we of course need a graph. Well, what do? To represent a vector graphically, we convert the magnitude of vector into what? Length. Whatever may be the magnitude of vector, that is converted into length. And that conversion is done with the help of an appropriate scale, so that the length can be drawn over your copy. Like here, it is a force of 100 Newton, direction is due east. So what do? We take what? We take 10 Newton as 1 centimeter. If we take 10 Newton as 1 centimeter, well, 100 Newton would be what? 100 Newton would be represented by what? 100 Newton would be represented by 10 centimeter. So we can draw a line of 10 centimeter over our answer scripts, over our registers, over our notebooks. But if we take a scale, what? Say 1 Newton is equal to 1 centimeter, that means 100 Newton would be equal to 100 centimeter. So it is not possible to draw a line of 100 centimeter or 1 meter over your notebook. So we have to take the scale such that we are able to draw those length over our answer scripts or notebooks. So the convenient scale here is 10 Newton is equal to 1 centimeter. Therefore 100 Newton is going to be 10 centimeter. Now we know these direction. This is east, this is direction cross. This is east, this is west, this is north, this is south. Now children, if we draw an arrow of length 10 centimeter, the length 10 centimeter arrow is going to represent 100 Newton magnitude, and if that arrow is due east, then it represents force F1. This is an arrow of length 10 centimeter due east. So 10 centimeter represents 100 Newton force, and the arrowhead is due east. Therefore, this arrow represents the force of 100 Newton due east. Any arrow we draw here in this plane is going to represent a force vector. Like suppose I draw an arrow of length say 20 centimeter like this. So what is this arrow? This arrow is a vector, force vector. And what is the value of this force? Well, 1 centimeter is 10 Newton, therefore 20 centimeter is going to be 200 Newton. So this is going to represent a force of 200 Newton, and direction of the force is what? Due north. Well, side by side I am also telling you the concept of direction, how to express direction. Suppose we draw an arrow of length say 12 of 15 centimeter. We draw an arrow of length 15 centimeter at an angle 45 degree from east, or at an angle 45 degree from north, exactly midway between north and east. So what does this 15 centimeter arrow represents? This again represents a vector, force vector, and the value of force vector is what? 150 Newton. Why 150 Newton? Because 10 Newton is 1 centimeter, or 1 centimeter is 10 Newton. Therefore 15 centimeter is going to be 150 Newton. So this arrow is a force vector. The magnitude of force is 150 Newton, and direction is what? Direction is due northeast. This direction is exactly midway between north and east. Therefore we call it as northeast. This direction is northeast. Suppose we have an arrow of length. Suppose we have an arrow of length say 25 centimeter like this. This is exactly midway between north and northeast. This is northeast. This is 22.5 degree, and this is also 22.5 degree. Exactly midway between north and east. Well, since the length of arrow is 25 centimeter, therefore the magnitude of this vector is what? 250 Newton. And what is direction? Direction is what? Direction is due north. Between north and northeast is what? Due north of east, NNE. And if the direction is between north of east and north, then we'll write down the direction as north of east. Remember, this way we express the direction exactly midway. Like this is south and this is east. Direction midway between south and east is going to be what? Southeast. And direction in between them is going to be what? South of east, and so on. Well, if we make an arrow like this, say this arrow is of length say 14 centimeter, and this angle is 30 degree. Remember, this direction is not midway. This is not midway. Of course it is in between west and south, but it is not exactly midway. So what is this vector? This vector is going to represent a force vector, and the value of force is going to be what? 14 centimeter length is what? 140 Newton force. And what is direction? Direction is 30 degree west of south. Or this direction can also be written as, if this is 30, this is going to be 60. This direction can also be expressed as 60 degree. This direction can also be written as 60 degree south of west. This is 60 degrees south of west, or this direction can also be expressed as 30 degree west of south. Well, if we have an arrow like this here, the length of arrow is what? say 30 centimeter, and this angle is what? Say 25 degree. So what is this direction? What is this vector? This vector is a force vector of magnitude how much? This represents a 300 Newton force, and direction is what? Direction is 25 degree north of west. Or this direction can also be written as, if this is 25, this is going to be what? This is going to be what? This is going to be 65. So this direction can also be written as 25 degree north of west, or 65 degree west of north. Remember, these are not direction exactly midway. Of course, they are direction in between west and north, but they are not exactly midway between west and north. Had it been exactly midway between west and north, we would have written it as northwest, and in that case the angle would have been what? 45 degree from both axes. So how do we represent a vector graphically? That is, I think, clear to each one of you. We take an appropriate scale, convert that magnitude of vector into length, and for that we select an appropriate scale, and of course accordingly we plot the arrow in appropriate direction. After graphical representation, let us understand mathematical representation of a vector. Mathematically, we represent a vector by an alphabet, by a letter, with an arrow overhead, with an arrow over that particular alphabet. Like D. D is what? Say displacement vector. No particular alphabet is reserved for any physical quantity. You can use any alphabet for any vector quantity. But by convention, what do? For displacement, we select the alphabet D. For velocity, we select alphabet V. For force, we select alphabet F. For momentum, we select, say, alphabet P. But there is no rule that we have to select F always for force. We can select any alphabet to represent any physical quantity. But when we write an alphabet, we have to make an arrow overhead. If we write displacement by D, if we write displacement by what? D, then we have to make an arrow overhead. This is displacement vector. If we write velocity by alphabet V, we have to make an arrow overhead. If we represent force by alphabet F, we have to make an arrow overhead. Well, since every vector quantity has both magnitude as well as direction, so D, these are two parallel lines drawn, both sides of D vector. This is read as modulus. These two parallel lines are read as modulus. And when we put these two parallel lines both sides of a vector, it is read as modulus of vector. And modulus of vector represents its magnitude. So what is this modulus of D? Modulus of D represents the displacement, the magnitude of displacement. Modulus of V represents the magnitude of velocity. Modulus of F represents the magnitude of force. And D cap, what is cap of a vector? This is V cap. V cap is nothing but unit vector, and it is used to represent direction of a vector quantity. So unit vectors are the vectors of unit magnitude, and they have well-defined directions, and they are used to represent direction of a vector quantity. Like D cap is the direction of displacement vector, V cap is the direction of velocity vector, F cap is the direction of force vector. So the modulus of a vector is magnitude, cap of a vector is what? Its direction. If we write a vector without an arrow overhead, even then it becomes a magnitude. If we do not put this sign of modulus, but we remove arrow, so alphabet without an arrow overhead is magnitude of vector, and cap of a vector is what? Its direction, unit vector. Well, students, every vector has a unique magnitude and unique direction, and as long as this uniqueness is maintained, a vector remains same. And that is why we have a law before you, that is law of transportation of vectors. This law says that a vector can be shifted or transported. A vector can be shifted or transported anywhere along its line of action or parallel to itself. A vector can be shifted along its line or parallel to itself anywhere in space, provided its length remains same. When length of the vector remains same, the magnitude of the vector remains same. And when we shift a vector along its line of action or parallel to itself, in both cases the direction remains same. So by shifting along its line or parallel to itself, the uniqueness of the direction is maintained. And when the magnitude of the length of the arrow remains same, the uniqueness of magnitude is maintained. Suppose this is a vector here. This is vector. This vector can be shifted anywhere. This is a vector. We can shift it, say, along its line of action anywhere in this direction, or we can shift it backward also. Make it here. This vector can be shifted anywhere. This vector is like this. We can shift it not only along its line of action. We can also shift it parallel to itself. It can be shifted parallel to itself anywhere. We can shift it here like this. We can shift it here like this. We can shift it backward and make it say here. Anywhere. We can shift it parallel to itself and make it anywhere. Anywhere we can make it here. So a vector can be shifted along its line of action or parallel to itself anywhere in the space, provided its length remains same. So what happens? By this way, when we shift the vector, the uniqueness of direction as well as magnitude is maintained. Well, the last thing of the day is angle between two vectors. Children, when we work out the numericals of vectors, most of the children have problem in finding out angle between two vectors. So what exactly is angle between two vectors? I am going to explain. Angle between two vectors is angle between their relative directions. Very simple. If this is vector A, this is vector B, this vector is in this direction, this vector has arrow in this direction. So angle between two vectors is what? Theta here as shown. What is angle between these two vectors? If this vector is A, this vector is B, and they are in the direction as shown, the angle between them is what? This angle. If a vector is like this is vector A, this is vector B, and the angle is written here as what? 120. Now here is the confusion. See, the line of action of this vector is here, and line of action of this vector is this. So angle between two vectors is not this angle. Angle between these two vectors is what? This angle. Why this angle? Because the line of action of this vector is this, and line of action of this vector is this. So angle between the line of actions, the direction of two vectors is what? Not 120. It is this angle theta, which is what? 180 minus 120, and that is 60 degree. So angle between these two vectors is not 120, it is 60 degree. Or you can shift vector. You can shift this A vector forward here, and then you can see the angle between the directions. Like here, these are two vectors. This is vector say A, this is vector B. What is angle between these two vectors? A layman would say, yeah, 60 degrees is the angle between two vectors. But that's not the case. That's not the case. This is vector A, this is vector B. The direction of vector B is this, direction of vector A is what? This. You can shift this vector A forward. When we shift vector A forward, well, the angle between these two directions is what? Not 60. This is in fact this angle. And this angle is what? 180 minus 60, that is 120 degree. So theta in the diagram is what? Angle between two vectors. Well, here also, this is vector 1, say A, this is say vector B. What is angle between these two vectors? It is not 70. It is not 70. The direction of this vector is what? This. You can shift this vector forward. This now becomes A vector. So what is angle between A vector and B vector? Angle between A vector and B vector is not 70. It is 180 minus 70. And that is what? 110 degree is angle between two vectors. These are two vectors. The angle seems 80 degree. And what is angle between these two vectors? Yes, angle between these two vectors is 80 degree. This vector, if shifted forward, would look like this. This vector can be shifted forward, would look like this. The angle between these two vectors is what? Remains what? 80 degree. So remember, angle between two vectors is angle between their relative directions. And what is that angle? That angle can be found out when we make the vectors with their tails together. See, I have tried to make all the vectors with their tails together, and that tails can be brought together by this law of transportation of vectors. So I hope it is clear to each one of you. All of you have understood very thoroughly what is angle between two vectors. So this is just the beginning of vectors. We have miles to go in this particular chapter. So we'll continue with our study of vectors in the next class. Until we meet again, goodbye.